My childhood buddy told me the young emperor hated purple, so on selection day I wore a full purple fit on purpose. But the moment the young emperor laid eyes on me, he literally lit up. He turned to the Empress Dowager and said, "Mom, I want her as my empress." I was so done. I figured my buddy gave me bad intel, so I chased him down and beat him up. "What the heck? You said he hated purple, so how did I still get picked?" My buddy looked like he was about to cry. "Do you even know how good looking you are? You could have shown up in a potato sack and still gotten picked." Sure, I didn't used to like purple bun, but I'm not blind. After triple checking that my name was actually on the roster, I nearly passed out on my dressing chair. Everyone knew I didn't want to be in the selection, so I snuck off to find Kang Fuxue and asked him to run away with me. We'd grown up together since forever, so I figured he'd have my back. But he got all serious and said, "Ailing, the Imperial selection is a national duty. You can't just skip it. Besides, I've always thought of you as a little sister. If we both just ran off, what about everyone else?" I just stared at him, completely speechless. I punched him on the arm and said, "I don't care. Figure something out. I am not going to that selection." Honestly, I have no idea where that confidence came from. Like going to the selection automatically meant getting picked. Kang Fuxu couldn't shake me off, so he went to dig up intel on what the Emperor liked and didn't like. On the day of the selection, I went full purple. Outfit, headpiece, all of it. I checked myself out in the mirror and honestly, I looked stunning. Nearly fell for myself. But knowing the Emperor hated purple, there was no way I'd get picked dressed like this. I couldn't help but snicker. Then the young Emperor spotted me and his eyes went wide. Dude could not stop staring. He muttered something under his breath. The Empress Dowager turned and asked, "What did you say, my dear?" The young Emperor turned red and said, "Mom, this lady right here, she should be my empress." Every single person in the room turned to look at me. The Empress Dowager studied me for a moment, then asked, "Which family are you from?" I wanted to cry, but I held it together and answered, "Your Highness, I'm Wei Ling, daughter of the 8th rank attendant Wei." The Empress Dowager shook her head. "Just an 8th rank family, and that's too low." My eyes lit up for a second. I thought I finally had a way out, but the young Emperor leaned over and whispered something, and the Empress Dowager reluctantly spoke up. "The Wei family's rank is too low for empress, so let's make her noble consort instead." I nearly blacked out right there on the spot. Out of the 4 senior consorts, noble consort is literally the highest, second only to the empress herself. By my family's rank, even a 3rd-tier concubine would have been a stretch. And the Empress Dowager just casually bumped me all the way to noble consort. That selection round brought in 4 consorts for the emperor, noble consort Wei, which is me, Wei Ling. Then there were 2 4th-rank beauties, Yu and Fang, plus 1 5th-rank talented lady Jiang. Since I outranked everyone, the Empress Dowager put me in charge of managing the 6 palaces and had me come to her quarters every other day for training. From managing finances and ledgers all the way down to breaking up petty catfights, every single thing in the palace landed on my plate. I was exhausted. By the time I finally got the hang of things, I'd gotten pretty close with the other consorts. Beauty Yu and Beauty Fang were always hanging out in my quarters, staying for half the day, and they never came empty-handed. Beauty Yu would say, "My lady, I made this sachet myself. Hang it by your bed, and you'll sleep like a baby." Beauty Fang brought me some braided knots she'd made herself. They brought gifts, so I couldn't just say nothing. I gritted my teeth and gave each of them a jade bracelet. As the highest-ranking consort, I couldn't exactly give cheap gifts. Just that one exchange wiped out over 10 taels of silver. They were all smiles, and showed absolutely no signs of leaving. With 2 people just sitting there, I couldn't serve them nothing. So I had my maid Xiaoji bring out fresh pastries and a plate of tribute tangerines. They dug right in and chatted away without a second thought. Beauty. Yu grinned and said, "You really are the noble consort, my lady. These pastries are incredible." Then she just sat there giving me puppy dog eyes, so I said, "If you like them, I'll send some over to your quarters." Beauty. Yu jumped on that immediately, like she was scared I'd take it back. And if I'm giving to one, I can't leave out the other. So there go 2 more plates of pastries. Both of them kept gushing about how kind and beautiful I was. After all that talking, they drained pot after pot of tea. Next thing I knew, it was mealtime, and I couldn't exactly kick them out. So I had the kitchen add more dishes to host them. By the end of the day, I was out nearly 20 taels of silver. It's not like I'm cheap. Nobody's wallet can survive those 2 showing up every single day. And with the Empress Dowager pushing frugality, even my noble consort allowance couldn't keep up. It didn't take long before I was flat broke. And honestly, it's all Kang Fuxui's fault. If he hadn't lied about the Emperor hating purple, I'd never have ended up here. None of this would have happened. So I wrote him a really long letter, basically asking him to pay up. Kang Fuxu may have dropped the ball on the selection tip, but he still came through and sent me 1,000 taels through a courier. But somehow, talented Lady Jiang found out about it and went straight to the Empress Dowager. She claimed Kang Fuxu and I were secretly exchanging things, and implied we had something going on. The Empress Dowager ripped the letter to shreds with a straight face, but instead of blaming me, she turned to talented Lady Jiang and said, "I have 0 tolerance for troublemakers in my court." Realizing the Empress Dowager was displeased, talented Lady Jiang dropped to her knees. "Your Highness, I was wrong." The Empress Dowager made an example of her, cutting her allowance for 6 months, then turned to me and asked, "Noble consort, what exactly is going on here?" She had that look, so I told her everything straight. The 2 ladies kept visiting my quarters, and over time I just ran out of money. That's why I pulled that move. The Empress Dowager went quiet after hearing that. "I can't believe you're just as foolish as talented Lady Jiang. You're an imperial consort. You're an embarrassment to the royal family. Even if you're broke, you don't go begging outsiders for money. What would people think? Now go return that money to Kang Fuxu." Yes, Your Highness. And right then, the emperor just happened to show up.